when I was checking Twitter, I came across the John Rothstein report about the fact that Villanova is the only Power 4 job that is still available and does not have a head coach, and that we're now waiting on Kevin Willard from Maryland. I say we because, I grew up literally in the shadows of Villanova. I always talk about that. My mom worked at the athletic department. You've heard this before. And if you haven't, welcome aboard. But a strong affiliation with Villanova. Both my brothers went there. My mom went there for a little bit. She never graduated. She worked in the athletic department. And then she got this big job kind of running the student union building and events on campus. So she was a made woman. And that was pretty cool too, because my mom grew up, she was a housewife. She can try to spin it any way she wants. She was an amazing homemaker and the most loving mom in the world. But she got an opportunity to go back to work at Villanova. I mean, I was in third grade, right? So why not just let the wild stallion run? My brother Michael will tell you that I was coming home to 3 fingers of Glenlivet Scotch when I was in third grade. That is not true. But I was a latchkey child, although my mom debates that. Both my parents were at work. I came home and I let myself in and would do whatever, which was usually video games and running outside and playing sports if I wasn't involved in sports. Anyways, I have a deep passion for Villanova. Having the opportunity to get to know all the coaches there at one time or another, and Jay Wright is on the Mount Rushmore of people, not just coaches, people. And Jay, you could say, may have handpicked his successor in Kyle Neptune. And like a lot of stuff goes in the coaching world, it didn't go straight line to a championship. It went boom. And, Kyle Neptune, that may have been too much too soon for that guy. I don't know. He's a good coach, and I think he'll get another opportunity. It's got to be hard for a guy like that to get a big opportunity out of the gate and then, quote unquote, fail. I mean, he didn't make the tournament all 3 years. That's, you got to go, right? At a school like Villanova, who had won back-to-back championships or 2 championships in 3 years, and then tack on a Final Four a few years after that and another Final Four in 2009, about 8 years before the championship run started. So it's a university that deserves better. I don't want to say deserves better, but I think that the standard is such that you got to make the tournament and you got to make a run in the tournament. So John Rothstein reports that Kevin Willard is in the second weekend with Maryland of the NCAA tournament. This has been well documented that Maryland's athletic director, who had butt heads with Kevin Willard, left to take the job as the athletic director at SMU. Now, I would imagine that's not as good a job as being an athletic director in the Big Ten, just because there's way more money in the Big Ten than there is in the ACC, where SMU is now. Although SMU, I mean, hey, you're the AD at SMU. Maybe you're making close to $1 million. You live in Highland Park. I mean, that's pretty good living. Although, who wants to keep up with the Joneses like that? It can be a little much. Either way, their athletic director's going to SMU. So now the athletic department's sort of in flux around Kevin Willard, who wants more of a commitment to the program. It would seem to me that Kevin Willard is doing what any good businessman would do, but he's using this Villanova opportunity to negotiate with Maryland. And he's got 2 things going for himself right now. One, he's coaching one of the 16 programs that are still playing right now. Here we are, March 27th, March 28th, by the time you're watching this. And he has another job at a Power 4 conference or a Power 5 conference. I was saying Power 4. We're talking about the Big East now, so I guess it's a Power 5 job, right? Who the hell knows how that stuff goes anymore? Villanova's a big job, okay? And it's the only one left. And Kevin Willard, when the music stops, it'll be interesting to see whether he chooses to sit down at Villanova's table or Maryland's table, or who knows? Nowadays, it could be something totally different. But apparently Maryland is renegotiating or trying to renegotiate with him for $5 million a year. Right now, I think he makes like 3.9, which is not a bad bag of shekels. But waiting in the wings now, if Kevin Willard does not take the job, I would imagine, or I would hope, is Porter Moser. coach at Oklahoma right now. But I would imagine Moser's a guy of integrity. Like the more time marches on, I would think his commitment to Oklahoma, who has remained committed to him, would only strengthen. He's a guy of great integrity, which is why I would love him for this job. Kevin Willard is also a great coach. He did very well at Seton Hall. And you've noticed now Villanova sticking to its roots still. You got Porter Moser, who's in the mix. Now I guess he's on the outside looking in, who coached at Loyola Chicago, a Catholic school, Sister Jean, that whole number. And did, they made a Final Four. That was in 2018. And then they advanced again to the Elite Eight, I think in 2021, the COVID year, when Baylor won the title. So this is like a great coach. And, he's made the tournament once in 3 years at Oklahoma. You could say last year when he was still in the Big 12 at Oklahoma, he got robbed. Their first year, it wasn't happening for him. It was the first year of a program that he took over in the middle of COVID. And literally you're putting together a Big 12 roster over Zoom. That's tough, taking over a job to do that. So he kind of got a mulligan on the first year. A lot of coaches did, but the past 2 years, they've been very competitive, especially in the non-con before the season. And that non-con performance before the season is, I think, what that in an SEC schedule helped Oklahoma catch a bid this year. And they won, they lost in the first round to UConn, but it was a very close game, and they probably should have won that game. But I would rather see Porter Moser get the job than Kevin Willard. I feel like Kevin Willard is the hot name, and I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Porter Moser. I think he's a tremendous coach. I think he is the perfect fit for Villanova. I think from what I've heard from people that know some stuff that Jay Wright has actually kind of pushed for Porter Moser to get this job. Unfortunately for Jay, the last time he did that, it was Kyle Neptune. So, there's a new AD at Villanova too. I have no idea what's around that situation, but, they need to make a hire sooner than later because now the transfer portal is open. I looked at the players in the transfer portal to be very clear with you, or to use the word transparent again. I don't see any guys that like knock me on my ass, but maybe that's saying that I don't know enough. Joe Sansanin, the kid we talked about yesterday morning from Arizona State. I mean, he was in and he was out. And I think that is, what the best players do, right? They just, boom, I know where I'm going. Tucker DeVries is listed in the top 25 of portal guys, but he's going to go with his dad to Indiana. I think he has like a do not touch or whatever, leave alone sticker on him in the portal because everybody knows he's going to go play for his dad at Indiana. But Villanova needs to get this done, and they need to get it done soon. And I have a feeling that if Kevin Willard gets bounced in the first round of the tournament, in this regional, in the Sweet 16, maybe, and he plays tomorrow night or tonight, shortly thereafter, in a day or two, we could hear that he's going to Villanova, or we could hear that he's staying at Maryland. This is not Little Sisters of the Poor he's coaching now. This is not Will Wade going to the second round with McNeese, an upstart program who will never have enough money to compete in the NIL and will never be able to pay him as much money as he deserves. Maryland's in the Big Ten. They are in the DC market. They are a perennial power, or maybe you call them a perennial sleeping giant now. But Maryland has the stuff to be gangbusters. But right now, Kevin Willard feels like they're not getting the commitment they need. I think that's every coach in America. When you have an opportunity to drum up more commitment from your athletic department financially, and your NIL or your collectives, like, you'll take those opportunities. You will hold these people over the barrel as long as you can until you get what you want, because that's all it is now. It's really more than anything it's money. I mean, these kids now earn a certain amount of money, right? Through NIL deals with collectives. And the playing field has not been, it's great for the players right now, but we're also, it's out of control. It's the Wild West. And so when we finally find ourselves in the middle of the road here, that will be a possible opportunity for maybe a little more, I don't even know if parity is the word, but there's just a little bit more semblance of control, and something a little more reasonable. So I think, though, back to the point, Kevin Willard's going to do what he has to do to get as much money as he can out of Maryland. And also, if he's going to go to Villanova, to negotiate with them that he wants the right type of commitment from their NIL or collectives or however the hell we're going to do it heading into next season. I can tell you, and it is so interesting that we have no clue what he's going to do. And that's the point of this whole rap right now, and why I can't get my mind off this. It's because, like, this Villanova job is a great freaking job. It's in one of the best areas in the country for a school. Like, they have the money. Like, Villanova's NIL budget is huge. They have donors who are, from what I heard, like, ready to take money away from the program if Kyle Neptune were to continue as the head coach. Well, that's not going to be the issue, right? They're going to have a new coach. And I think that I think for the program, as far as money you will get from donors, right, and NIL folks and collectives that will help you buy these players, I don't want to say buy them, but help you compensate these players, they will probably be the most excited about Kevin Willard. I think you can really find a gear to get excited about Porter Moser. I can promise you, like, that's the kind of guy. Porter will win the press conference with Villanova, and that's important because you win commitment from folks who are going to drum up money so your program can become viable. And I think he's a great coach. Like, the guy is charisma personified, and he's been in the two best conferences in college basketball over the past 3 years. When he was in the Big 12 for his first 2 years at Oklahoma, they were hands down the best conference in college basketball. And now, at being in the SEC, he is in the best conference in college basketball, hands down. So what are you going to do, man? I mean, like, if you get Porter Moser, I'm telling you, in the Big East with Villanova's budget, it will be gangbusters. That's a promise. And I don't make those promises like, some people out there, I think, will, like, guarantee stuff just to guarantee it. I sometimes will make guarantees, and when I do that, I have a bug up my ass. But it's not like something I'm creating. And I got a bug up my ass about this Villanova coaching situation, and I feel like everybody's waiting and hanging on for Kevin Willard when Porter Moser's the guy. And I think the longer you wait on Willard, you lose an opportunity for a guy like Moser, who I think will be better right now if you line the two up side by side. So that's how we're starting this show today. Villanova needs to give the job to Porter Moser, even though they probably won't, because of a lot of stuff that are, it's like Kevin Willard versus the field. Well, okay, smart money says maybe you take the field because the odds are better, but Porter Moser is only one part of that field. So we'll have to see what happens with him. I really hope that Villanova would land on him, but if it's with Kevin Willard, that's fine. I hope it's not the other guy who doesn't have any hair, because, I'm just not a huge fan right now, like, of the body language and the demeanor and the constant complaining about road trips and whatnot. It's got nothing to do with people that don't have hair. Look, I'm getting there, okay? That's just a descriptor.